Hi, I'm Nathan from Jim's Car Detailing. I used to be a baker for 22 years, but I decided that I actually wanted to work for myself for a lifestyle change. The biggest thing that I found when I first started was the transition from being an employee, so having a boss or a manager, to working for yourself. You have to know that you can't be just complacent, you can't be lazy, or else things just won't work. You'll end up failing. So I found that really hard when I first started, to know that I had to do everything. The business was completely mine. Probably the hardest part to making sure that you knew that you were the boss and working for an employer was when you actually came home, you still had to be switched on. You had to learn how to do all your invoicing, you had to call your clients, make sure you had the right stock. So all the things that came into it afterwards, really make a difference, so that you know that you are the boss and everything that you do is for yourself, not for working for somebody else. So when I actually first started, one of the first things that I realized really quickly was you need to have goals. Whether it be short-term or long-term goals, if you don't have goals, you're going to be going in blind. So my personal short-term goals were to fill up as much regulars as I could so that I actually knew the income that I was going to be making. Long-term goals would be along the lines of putting more vans on the road and being more of a director, working on the business and not in the business. No matter what industry you're going to be in, you're always going to make mistakes, especially on the job. So it's how you react to making mistakes so that you can always adjust and make sure you're not doing it again. Listen to what the client actually has said. I would go back and fix the problem, and then I would work on it so that I never did it again. And if you end up doing it a few times, then time to take a step back and have a look at what you're doing wrong, and that way you can actually make sure you don't do it again. Another thing that I actually did was make sure that I, even then wrote things down so that I wouldn't forget. Have checklists and all that sort of stuff when I first started. Obviously don't need to now because I've been doing it for a while, but when you're first starting off, it's always good to make sure that you're covering all the bases so that you're not missing anything. Because you will make mistakes. You can't please everybody, but it's how you react to that. To either keep that client on board and they could actually be a return client. So if they have a good experience with you, they're more than likely going to actually use you again. So the biggest thing that I had when I first started and that I had to learn was good communication with my clients. So if it is a brand new client, I would always try and ease them into the conversations and not just make it feel like it's a robot call. Ask them about footy, ask them the small talk, how their day was, and if you have to call them on a weekend, be sympathetic, because a lot of people don't actually like to be called on weekends. So to make them feel like they're not just a number. You're actually calling to get them over the line for a specific job. Be very clear as well about what they're after so that you don't miss things, because it could be very vague in terms of I want to cut and polish, or I want an interior detail. There might be extras that they want. So it's always good to ask these questions beforehand. The fear that I had was being able to call clients and pretty much sell myself every single time I got on the phone to them. Being able to say the right things, to be able to make sure that we both understand each other, and then to go out and do the job. So, the biggest fear that I had was not doing it properly and not pleasing the client, getting a lot of complaints, because I feel if you manage to do the job right and you're getting praise, that's all good. But until you do something wrong, it's how you fix that and how you sort of hold yourself when you do the wrong thing. Having the taste of better work for yourself is the biggest point. Like, I have all the flexibility that I need. I have the lifestyle change that I absolutely love. And going back and working for somebody, it would just be too hard. Having someone look over my shoulder and tell me what to do all the time. Whereas when you work for yourself, you have all the control. Thanks for watching. This was just a little snippet of my journey from going from an employee to running my own business. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.